Hello everybody and welcome back to The Ordinary Critics. I am Isaac and I'm just an ordinary guy reviewing extraordinary movies for you. My partner Carlos is on sabbatical for a couple of weeks. So I'm riding solo. And here we go. So we're doing Ready Player One. Went and saw it opening night, and it's my favorite book, so I was really excited to watch it. To my expectations, it fell a little short. Comparatively to the book was better, in my opinion, but as a standalone film, based on the source material, it's a fun watch. The graphics are awesome, the cinematography is great, Steven Spielberg is just a mastermind with these things and putting everything together in such a big scale like that. So, we are going to start with the general overview of the plot, and then we'll dive right in. So let's get started. Basically, this guy develops, his name is James Holliday, invents the Oasis. It creates it. It's a virtual reality video game that everybody uses nowadays. It's how they make money. It's how they go to work. It's how they go to school. Everything. And he dies, and he has no heirs. That's the twist in all of this. And so he left an Easter egg in the game, and then you have to find 3 keys to unlock the Easter egg, and if you were the first person to do that, you inherit all of his earnings in Gregarious Games, which is his company, which is like $250 million, or $250 billion, I don't remember. A ridiculous amount of money. And so it follows Wade Watts, our protagonist, going through all of these challenges, and he teams up with some people. Of course, there's some bad guys. IOI, the company, is trying to overtake Gregarious Games. But it's just all of them, all of these people in the Oasis trying to find the keys to get the Easter egg. Yeah, it's like I said, it's a lot of fun. Go check it out. I would say go read the book if you want a little bit of a source material, but it's not necessary. They made so many changes to the plot, and so we're gonna dive right into that and just get going. So I just want to take this time. I'm gonna give you 3 seconds to click pause. If you don't want to continue watching from here on out, we will have spoilers. If you want to stick along and check out the report card at the end, we will try to keep that spoiler-free, but no promises. But there will be spoilers from this point on, so I'm giving you 3 seconds to click that pause button. You ready? 3, 2, 1. All right, everything's fair game now. So we're going to start with the plot. I love the book. It's my favorite book by Ernest Cline. It's just this nostalgic 80s video game heaven. So going into this movie, I was really excited to finally see what would happen. And the plot, so in the book, you have to get 3 keys to unlock 3 gates to get the Easter egg, Holiday's Easter egg, which each key required a challenge, each gate required a challenge, and then the Easter egg was also, to get the final Easter egg, there was also a challenge. They changed that considerably in the movie. Each key required a challenge, and then it went right immediately into it gave you a hint right after you got the key to unlock the gate to get to the next key. So it was just 3 challenges, so that was interesting. Yeah, but the plot, the overall general plot, I love this plot. I'm a big MMO gamer. And so having that feel that you're in an MMO is awesome. But there are no level ups, but there's like items that you can equip, and there's gear, and there's all these adventures you can go on with all these different worlds. It was great, and the plot was, it was good. It was good. They flip-flopped so many things from the book that if I could make a whole different video comparing the book to the movie. I'm going to try to stick to the movie and what I thought about the plot. But yeah, Spielberg did a fantastic job. He did a fantastic job of capturing the main essence of what Ernest Cline was going for. The first challenge, you jump right in, and the first challenge is, it's a race to the finish line that no one's ever beaten. It's been 5 years, and nobody's beaten it. And so you start out in the race, this fast action. You see King Kong, you see the T-Rex from Jurassic Park, you see the DeLorean, you see just all these different cars and all these nostalgia factors, and it sets you up perfectly for where it's going to go. The second challenge was very interesting for the Jade Key. So that's Copper Key, Jade Key, Crystal Key. For the second one, it was they got placed in in The Shining, in the movie The Shining, and they had to find Ogden Morrow's wife, Kira, who Ogden Morrow and James Holliday were partners. Holliday kind of bought him out of his shares of the company, and you find out in the film, this is one of the big spoilers, that Holliday actually went on a date with Ogden's wife before Ogden and her were even a thing. And so it's kind of like talking about like, oh, he never took the leap, he never did this. So you have to like find her and rescue her in The Shining, and so it's a great homage and a lot of funny moments with H and the characters trying to figure out how to get through The Shining. And the funny part is that H has never seen The Shining, so he doesn't know what's going on. So it's quite fun. And then the third one, the third challenge is similar in context to the book. It's in a castle, and it's basically there's an Atari on this ice, and you have to figure out which game to play and how to beat it, and that's how you unlock the last thing. And so Sorrento activates this magic orb that is like a level 99 item, which is just ridiculous. Sorrento is I don't know if I said this or not. Sorrento is the CEO of IOI Corporation, I guess, and they're trying to buy out Gregarious Games by winning the contest so they can be kind of like the overall seer of all things entertainment, which is terrifying. But yeah, so Wade is going through all these challenges, and we'll get back to the third challenge in a second. Wade's going through these challenges, and he's the first one to complete the race because he finds a hint in Holliday's journals, is what they call them, instead of Anorak's Almanac, which I thought was interesting. It's a very public thing. It's not like handed out to everybody individually. It's a public thing that you go into, and it's all of Holliday's memories, all of his movies, all of his newspapers, journals, everything that he's ever done with. Yeah, so Wade figures out the first key, figures out the second key with help of Artemis and H and Daito and Sho. They are called the High Five because they're the first 5 members to get on the scoreboard. That's kind of keeping track of everybody who's winning the contest. So back to the third one. In the movie, Wade gets captured, kind of, but it's more like rescued, and gets taken to the rebellion. The rebellion is not a thing in the book, so it's a completely new element. And so the rebellion is made up of Artemis and all these people in the real world that are trying to beat the game, get the Easter egg, and so that IOI can't get it. That is their sole purpose, is just so that IOI can't get it. And so Artemis and Wade meet up in real life much sooner than in the book. This is in the middle of the movie, as opposed to in the book, it happens in the end. They meet up in real life, and they end up meeting H, which he finds out is actually a girl. And they've been best friends for the 5 years that they've been in the realm, so that was kind of like a sticker shock moment. I love that moment in the book, because basically H comes and picks up Wade, and it's just it's that moment of, you read it the first time, you're like, oh my god, he's been getting catfished essentially this entire time. He doesn't think any of it, because it's like, oh, your personality is the same, it's just like, your appearance is different, okay, cool, whatever, which is awesome. So yes, and then Daito and Sho. Sho is 11. And it's hilarious because he's like, yes, I know I'm tiny, I'm a child, like, it's fine. And Daito pretty much is the same as described in the book, which is awesome. So there's your high five. So they're all members of the rebellion. They're trying to find the keys, and actually IOI ends up raiding the rebellion camp. Artemis sacrifices herself so that Wade can escape. She gets taken to one of the loyalty centers, which is basically like indentured servitude, essentially, for IOI, and that's how she gets into the system. And so this magic orb that I was talking about back to get to the third key, this magic orb it's an impenetrable shield essentially around this thing. The only way to disable it is you have to be like 10 feet away and you have to say this magic spell. So Artemis ends up getting captured by IOI. She goes into their system, says the magic words next to the orb, opens it up, and you're going, and it's this huge big battle happening outside. And one of the better moments that I love that they kept is that Sorrento becomes Mechagodzilla, and it just starts wrecking people. It's hilarious. And then Daito finally he joins the battle as a Gundam for 2 minutes or something like that, and just holds him off enough so that Wade can get in. And he figures out that you have to play Adventure on the Atari. And one guy is playing Adventure, one of the IOI employees is playing the Adventure, and he beats it, but he ends up losing. And Wade's like, no, that's not the point. You have to find it. Adventure had the first, for the Atari 2600, had the first Easter egg in it, so he knows that. Well, Sorrento comes back and activates this cataclysm thing, this item that literally destroys every avatar. But Wade made a bet with the butler, or the curator, I'm sorry, of Anorak's journals, and the guy gave him a quarter. Didn't think anything of it. So this is way before. This is before, I think, before they find the Jade Key, which is the second challenge. So he activates Sorrento activates the cataclysm. It's just like, if I can't have it, nobody can. Blows everybody up. Wade's still alive. He flips over that quarter that the coin that he got from the curator, and it says extra life. And it's just that moment of pure satisfaction that you know Wade is gonna win, and it's awesome. And he goes, and it's broadcast live for everybody in the Oasis to see. So then he gets transported, and Anorak comes, which is Holiday's avatar. And yeah, Wade gets the Easter egg, and and he ends up splitting the company 5 ways with the high five. Yeah, and it's just, happy ending. It's just a it's a feel-good story, and it's super nostalgic. Yes, and you might, if you did read the book, you might have noticed I said yes, all high five. In the movie, Daito does not get killed, which I was waiting for it to happen, and it never did, which is kind of disappointing. Just because it was such a key moment in the book, because everybody like steps their game up after that moment. It's kind of like, do this for Daito, do this for Daito, but that didn't happen. But yeah, so the plot, I enjoyed how they kept the plot, the general plot of 3 keys. I know it's really hard to cram in 300, 400 pages into 2.5 hours of movie. Next up, we have the cast. The casting was, it was great. We had Ty Dillinger as Wade Watts, our protagonist. And I mean, a lot of it happens in the Oasis. So you have these CGI characters. So I wasn't too concerned with how they looked. They all fit their Oasis profiles very, very well. There is one character I want to talk about, and it's IROC. And in the book, IROC is just this guy that hangs out in H's like chat room essentially, and the guys talk to him every once in a while, but it's a very, very minor part. They expanded that role drastically, and he's basically Sorrento's like right-hand man in this thing, and is in the entire movie. I was watching, I was like, I don't remember him in the thing. But yeah, no problems with the cast. It was great. Great casting. I loved how it was a lot of people that I didn't know. I love the work that they did. And yeah, so on to next. Immersion continuity. Getting immersed into this world was very easy for me on one hand. On the other hand, I kept getting distracted of like, oh, this didn't happen in the book. I love the book so much that, and I relate with that world so much that those changes were a little hard for me to take. But if you haven't read the book and you just want to go see a fun movie that you can just like sit back and enjoy, absolutely go check this out. The world that Spielberg and Ernest Cline created with the Oasis is just, it's awesome. It's awesome. So go check it out. Cinematography was fantastic, and you have all the nods to Spielberg things, all of the pop culture references, all of the Easter eggs, surprise, that are in this movie, and it's fantastic. It's fantastic. The immersion was easy for me. Next up, soundtrack. You get 80s music, you get 90s music, you get a little bit of funk in there, like 70s. All the songs they picked were great. Nothing was distracting, but I didn't go out of the theater singing a song. But yeah, those songs pop up and you're like, oh yeah, this is a great like jamming tune. You can just jam with it and vibe with it. Soundtrack was great. Nice job picking that music and staying true to the essence of the thing. And then okay, we have cinematography. I kind of covered this with immersion too, but the cinematography was crazy. The CGI meshed very, very well. The contrast between the stacks and the real world versus what you have in the Oasis, and literally can be anything. You can change your hair, you can change your appearance, you can be somebody completely different, you can put on disguises. So yeah, short, sweet, and to the point with this one this week. We don't have a lot of banner because Carlos isn't here and he's my banner guy. So we're gonna go right into the report card. For the report card this week, since it is just me, I'm going to keep everything out of 20 so we can keep with our 100-point scale. So the numbers might be a little weird, but here we go. Plot. I'm going to go 15 out of 20. Cast, I'm going to give a 17 out of 20. Immersion, also a 17. Like I said, it wasn't hard for me to get into this world at all. Soundtrack, we're going to go with an 18, and cinematography, we're going with a 19 out of 20, which brings our total to an 86, and that is a B. Absolutely. Sit back, enjoy the ride that is Ready Player One. It is a great movie. It's a good time. It's full of, I keep saying nostalgia because it's what it is. It's just so nostalgic of a lot of different things from my childhood and my upbringing, which is just awesome. And that's what the movie should do. They should connect with everybody personally, and I really believe this movie does that. So thank you so much for watching and tuning in. We're gonna come at you with a couple more without Carlos, and then we're gonna try once his schedule winds down a little bit, we're gonna try to Skype him in and put him in some voiceover stuff and get him back in here. But thank you so much for watching, and as always, stay ordinary.